Hi everyone. This might be a repeat topic, but at this point you should expect that because I am over 100 episodes. My memory sucks, and I know that there's people that don't listen in order, so I don't feel so bad. But I wanted to talk about um, how my day went because there was some spontaneity thrown my way, and I dealt with it really, really well. And I wanted to get on here and talk about it because um, this hasn't gone well for me in the past. This anything spontaneous, I almost always struggle with because I like to know what's going to happen before it happens. Like I'm not great with like surprises either. But anyways, I'll just start at the beginning. This is for those of you who maybe struggle with being spontaneous and want to do better with that. I don't know. Maybe somebody can relate to this in some way. I'm not sure. But anyways, so I got up at around 11 and Alicia had already been up for hours at that point, and she had been out and doing stuff, and she heard me wake up and I was talking to one of the cats. And so she comes in and she's like, I have plans. And I asked if they involved me, and she said yes. And I was like, oh, great. Because my plans for the day were just to not go anywhere. Like I wasn't planning on leaving the neighborhood. I was going to hang out around the house outside and do some work inside. But she had rented a U-Haul, and we were supposed to go pick it up like an hour after I woke up because she wants to take a stove down to her sister's in Herkimer County, which is like over an hour away. She wanted to like bring her sister a stove that she got cheap from the people across the street that they were selling theirs, and her sister needed a stove because hers broke. And that bed that Alicia bought when we were not sleeping in the same room, she gave that to her sister for one of the kids. And we feel pretty confident that we don't need that second bed anymore because things are getting much, much better. So she wanted to bring those down to her family, or her sister. And she just needed me to go with her to the U-Haul place so that she can get the truck. And then when she got back later on in the afternoon, I would go back with her again so that I could bring her home. And I don't know if it was because I wasn't fully awake yet, but I offered to just go down there with her. And I don't know. I don't regret that I did that. I'm not sure why I don't know. I usually don't offer to do shit like that if it's just being sprung on me. Like the U-Haul thing was like enough. I didn't want to go do that, but she wanted to bring these things to her family, and this is her only day off to do it. So I offered to go down there with her because she shouldn't have to do that by herself, and company's nice to have. So she was surprised I offered, but it actually went pretty well. So when she left to go to the store or something before we went to go get that U-Haul, and I was just telling myself, okay, you have so many fucks to give today. You better use them wisely. And I told myself, don't be a bitch today. Don't be a bitch today, because this shit always goes south. I'm always a bitch. If something gets thrown at me that I wasn't planning for, I'm not nice. And that's not nice. I shouldn't be like that, and I don't want to. So I try to do things differently this time. And I just kind of had the inner pep talk, like, you can do this. You can go down there. It's not going to be that bad. It's good to be supportive of your wife. I keep using that word supportive. I really need to stop because it sounds like I'm not even her wife. Like I'm just some random person. But yeah, so I did that because I needed to, it's like the preparing thing, but I didn't have that much time to do it. I had like half an hour. So that's what I did. And we went to go get the truck. We drove it down there. I asked if I could listen to Tegan and Sarah because this is embarrassing, but they're my pacifier. If I'm anxious, I feel less anxious when I listen to them. If I'm upset, I feel less upset. Like they're my go-to band for emotions. Um, so she didn't mind that. And it was a pleasant drive. I shut my eyes for most of it just because it was too sunny. There was just cars everywhere, people everywhere, so much to look at. It was just overloading me sensory wise. So, I did pretty well. And that sounds weird to say. It was like an hour and a half drive, maybe, if that. And it went well. And they usually don't go well because I usually get annoyed about something and it just doesn't go well in the past. So this drive down there was good. Then we get down there and I had prepared myself for the children because her siblings just keep having kids, and that is so many Christmas presents every year, and they just keep having more kids. So I told Alicia that at some point, like, we're going to have to take back some of those presents from like a couple years ago and rewrap them if they're in good shape and give them to the new kids, because like this is getting out of hand. And there's only one kid. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 5 or 6 of them. I know there's a lot, but there's only one that like I really, really enjoy seeing, and I never enjoy seeing a child. No offense to anybody with kids. I just don't care for them. But I do for this one. This one is my autistic buddy, and she's so smart. She's 10 years old. Her name's Madeline, and she's my favorite because it's like a little adult. Like today we were having conversations about engineering, and I was like, how are you 10 years old and you know what engineering is? So her and I talked about all kinds of things. And there were tons of farm cats running around. Like lots of farm cats. They don't usually have this many, but like somebody dropped off some cats in like some litters. Like there were just a bunch of cats. I was in heaven. So there was babies, there was like older ones. But you know, they're a little rough looking. Like one had like its eye was a little fucked up. Another one had like part of its ear chopped off. And then another cat apparently had halfway gotten ran over, but was doing okay. Like, what the fuck? That makes me sad. But they try to take care of the cats as best as they can. And so I just basically, for 3 hours, had a cat in my arms. I was carrying around cats. Cats were jumping on me. It was great. And I was not expecting there to be that many cats. So I think that's why this just sounds so weird to say out loud. This sounds so weird. But yeah, the cats just make me feel great. Oh my God. Because her family is so dysfunctional, just like my family. She doesn't like going down there and she avoids it if she can. But whenever it comes to like her sister or her brothers, she'll drop what she's doing to go help them out with something. So yeah, so I didn't have to deal with the family members, mostly just the animals and Madeline. And that made the time go by really quickly. We got back in the truck. We drove back. I listened to Tegan and Sarah again. It was great. And we had no arguments, nothing like that. So I'm so sorry about my talking and my dry mouth. I'm trying to make these things better, but I don't know if I can, but I'm trying. But anyways, so in the past, how this would usually go is she would have asked me about, like, can you take me to the U-Haul place? And I would have immediately been bitchy because she knows I don't like things being thrown at me last minute. But you know, I don't do routines on the weekend anymore because of her. And she knows it because she would always interrupt them wanting to do something, you know, like a normal person who wants to go and enjoy their weekend. And I would get so frustrated because they would get interrupted every weekend, and I just decided to give it up on Saturdays and Sundays. And that's actually not so bad because now I don't get mad because nothing's being interrupted. So I really didn't have anything going on this morning, which is why I went with her. But in the past, like, I would have been bitchy to her. Like, I just woke up. You're asking me to go to, like, this U-Haul place with you in an hour. I haven't even had coffee yet. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I would have just started out that way. And let's say that the plan was that I was going down there with her and I didn't make the choice. So I would have been irritated in that truck. Like the sensory stuff. Oh my God. Like, I just would have left my eyes open because it's just stuff you don't think about. And it was just so fucking bright out. It was like 86 degrees. There was no clouds. I hate this weather. So I just, I would have definitely just been a bitch, and she never deserved any of that. But it would just be me, like, complaining or something. I feel bad, like, all the times I did that, because nobody really should be acting like that, but I did. Because apparently, like, it's always about me, and how dare you inconvenience me, but I'm trying to get better with stuff like that, which is why I volunteered to go down there today and try something different, and it went well. But right now, it's like a little after 9 at night, and she's in bed because she's got to get up at, like, ass early for work. But at this point, like, when we had gotten home a few hours ago, we wouldn't have been talking. We would have both been, like, irritated with each other. We probably wouldn't have said much the rest of the night before she went to bed. And it might have gone into the next day too. Like, well, not might have. It did. It would go into the following day. Because sometimes that's how long it takes me to get over my moods, especially, like, doing stuff that I wasn't planning on doing. So I'm not saying that I like being spontaneous, because I absolutely don't. And I always prefer plans, and I think I always will. But these things are going to happen, and I can't just say no all the time. I mean, I could, but I don't think that that's very fair to just always say no to things that I don't want to do, because sometimes you do have to sacrifice in marriages. And I considered that today was a sacrifice. God, I really shouldn't have got on here recorded, but I mean, there's got to be people out there. You guys know how this goes. And I'm sure that you guys have similar, like, feelings or thoughts or whatever when somebody just springs something on you. So yeah, it's always bad, which is why I just kind of stopped going. And then the pandemic happened, and I had the perfect excuse to, like, not go down there, because her family did not get vaccinated. None of them got vaccinated. And I didn't want to be around any of the kids, because if I had COVID and I didn't know it and I gave it to them and they were not vaccinated, I wouldn't feel right about that, even though that's a choice that her family's making. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much have found every excuse in the book not to go down with her when she goes to visit her family every couple of months. And, she had gotten to where she stopped asking me, which was great. But I know that I don't want to be selfish like this. I don't want to just have it be all about me and how I'm feeling, and just focus more on that and less on, like, how she's doing and the help that she would need. So I'm glad that I did this today. I'm glad that it was a completely different experience. And I think having sat for, like, however long I did this morning before we left, and just told myself, this is what your day is going to be like today. You're going to be down there for a few hours. You're not getting back until later on. So you better plan on that, and use your fucks wisely. And I did. And I used them so wisely, in fact, that when we got back, she was so tired because of just all the crap that she did yesterday outside and then running around today. And she only had an hour and a half before bedtime when we got home. So I had the energy to make her breakfast and lunch for work tomorrow. And that takes like a half an hour usually, which in my world is a lot. That's a long time because I don't like cooking. But I knew that she would need stuff. And so like I went and did that. And you know what? I never did that before because I never had that kind of energy when we came back from seeing her family. Because it's just, we don't like the drive. And we don't really like some of the people we're going to visit. Oh, like, and she said it too. Like, there's just her stepdad. Ugh. There's just some people. Nope. But yeah, it went well. And if you struggle with being spontaneous, maybe try just giving yourself 10 minutes, preparing yourself for whatever it is that you're about to do. And that's kind of like what we usually do, except it just has to happen in a shorter amount of time. Like when I prepare for things, I need a few days. I only got like an hour. So yeah, so it went well. I don't know if this was helpful for you guys. I hope it was. But I just guess, yeah, I feel good that I did that today. It doesn't sound like much maybe, but in our world it is. Like, we're introverts. We're home if we're not out at, if she's not at work or doing a couple of other things. Like, we're homebodies. We love it at home. It's safe. It's cozy. It's, we love our homes. So, our home, we only have one. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore because I just lost that thought. I'm sorry. I did so good the last episode, didn't I? I thought I did. But now I kind of forgot what I talked about 5 minutes ago. So, I'm just going to wrap this up. And sorry if you're still listening. That's kind of on you at this point because I don't know how helpful I'm being. But, yeah, just try it, I guess. If you have to do it. You have to be spontaneous once in a while because that's just how life is. Not everything can be planned. Not everything can be prepared for. And you don't have to say no every time something unexpected comes up. And I don't think I've ever volunteered to go down there with her family and actually wanted to. I used to volunteer and go down with her because I felt obligated to because I'm her wife. But now I realize that I can just take it easy throughout the day. Don't do a whole lot. Don't overthink things. Just take things one thing at a time. The car ride was one thing. Getting the stuff out of the U-Haul was another thing. I just try to focus on I don't know how to explain this properly, but rather than thinking about the entire day as I'm going through it, I just think about, okay, this is what we're doing right now. This is all I got to think about. And it helped because I wasn't having thoughts of this ride home is going to feel like forever or any of the other negative thoughts I used to have. Those were not there. It was so fucking weird. It was almost it was weird for her too. And when we got home, she thanked me for all of my help. And she said, I can't believe we had the kind of a day that we had doing something like this because it usually goes wrong. And I appreciated that she said thank you. I feel like I did something good and that I was there for her and that I stepped outside of I wouldn't say comfort zone. I would just say selfish zone. I stepped outside of my selfish zone and did something that turned out to be pretty good for me. And so now I don't have to, I don't think I'm always going to want to or feel like this when something gets sprung on me, but I know now that I can do it. And I only know that because I'm autistic and it just feels like everything that I am doing differently is because I have that knowledge. And I'm sorry I keep saying that, but, man, am I grateful. So I'm just going to get off now, and I hope that this was relatable. Sorry again about my talking, and I hope I made sense, but I feel really happy to be autistic. This was a good weekend. And I don't know, like, I know I said I would leave, but really quick. So I'm telling some clients that I'm autistic too, not just for the fun of it. Like, for example, there's this job on Upwork for 3,500, and it's an invite only, and I saw that the dude only sent 6 invites, and I was one of the 6. So wait, what was I talking about? Oh no, I don't remember what I was talking about. Maybe it'll come to me. Oh no, the autistic thing. Yep. And so he sent me the this is what I'm looking for. I offered to do some sample pages of his book. And so he sent them over, and he sent it in PDF. And I know this is kind of embarrassing because I've heard that PDF is very easy to work with when you're editing a document, but I've tried it so many times and I don't like it. I can't figure it out. It's hard for me. And I mean, I still get embarrassed about stuff that, like, it seems I should know how to do, but I don't. And some people are pretty picky with, like, how they want their books, like what format they want it in. So I just converted it to Word, did the edits, and then converted it back so he got his PDF back with, like, my Word file. And when I explained why I did the edits in Word, I said I can't do PDF. It's difficult for me. And then in parentheses I put, I'm autistic. And I thought that was a sufficient explanation. And maybe I didn't even have to do that because, I don't know. I guess it was because I feel like if somebody sees that an editor doesn't know how to use PDF or doesn't, like, it's too hard for them, maybe they'll think that, like, I'm not a good editor or something. I don't know. Or that I should be able to work with something easy like PDF, but it's embarrassing. So I have started explaining some of these things by just stating I'm autistic, because you know what? People don't have a whole lot to say about that, except they tell all their friends. And apparently, like, and in the editing world, it's good to be autistic because people think you do a really good job. But then again, that kind of sounds like, I don't know, like labeling or making assumptions, but it doesn't bother me because I'm getting more work for it. So is that wrong that I'm kind of, I don't feel too bad about that because I'm hoping that I'll get more work for being autistic? Is that fucked up? That's fucked up, isn't it? Well, I mean, it's working, like, it's getting me work. I don't know. Like, I've had a couple of clients be like, oh, I love working with autistic people. They do really good work. So, yes, we do. And if I'm doing something wrong, can somebody just email me and tell me to stop doing that? Because I don't know. Okay, if you're still listening, sorry. Gotta go. Bye. Thank you for listening. Bye.